Hello and welcome to the evaluation of the Albion Fellows Al- Bacon Center Safe Dates program presented and put together by Peyton Cuellar, Jennifer Dennison, and Caitlin Lowy for Public Health 590 at Purdue University. The Albion Fellows Bacon Center is a shelter located in Evansville, Indiana, that was started in the 1970s when it was noted that there was a lack of such resource within the community. It houses sexual and domestic violence victims and their children and provides various services, including shelter, non-residential services, community outreach, primary prevention, legal advocacy, children's programs, and crisis response. The program that we have decided to focus on is the Safe Dates program. The Safe Dates program visits local area high schools and provides them with a week-long educational program that focuses on teaching topics including gender roles found within relationships, effective communication tools, why people abuse, how to recognize physical, verbal, emotional, and financial abuse, defining what a healthy relationship is, and how to help others who are currently in an abusive relationship. These educational sessions are started with a 20 to 30-minute lecture session and then followed by group activities, discussions, exit quizzes and surveys, and as their final project that they have to do, there is a poster contest on the highlight of the programs for them. Now moving on to Jennifer with our logic model.
For our evaluation, we selected three components of our logic model to be evaluated and what we felt were important aspects. The first is a week-long lecture session for high school students on red flags, healthy relationships, resources, and gender roles as our activity portion. The second is the number of students who participated in the lecture series as our output, and the third is to increase the ability to identify signs of an unhealthy relationship as a short-term outcome. The three evaluation questions that we have formulated are: in what ways did the Safe Dates program affect the participants' ability to identify the signs of an unhealthy relationship? Number two, what is the quality of the lecture session provided to the students on healthy relationships, effective communication, gender roles, recognizing abuse, and how to help others as compared to the gold standard of presentations? And number three, how are the students participating in the lecture series? Which leads us into our program evaluation plan for each of our three questions. For the first question, it is, in what way did the Safe Dates program affect the participants' ability to identify the signs of an unhealthy relationship? For this question, the method we selected was a multi-group time series evaluation design with both a control and treatment group. Focus groups also allow the participants to answer questions more openly and ask questions about what is being asked if they don't understand. A few key questions that we will ask to engage the students will be: did the program increase your awareness of what constitutes an unhealthy relationship and explain what those concepts are? What specific signs of an unhealthy relationship did you learn about in the program? Have you used this knowledge to identify an unhealthy relationship in your own life or the lives of others? And if so, did you use this knowledge to help yourself or someone you knew, and how? A survey will also be utilized. This will allow the necessary baseline information from both groups, as well as demographic information that will be important to better understand the backgrounds of those participating and to be sure that the program is including information that might be culturally sensitive. For the quantitative and qualitative data we gathered for question one, the data for this question will be the number of students who joined the focus groups, the number of students who felt they were able to maintain healthy relationships based on the knowledge gained in the class, the number of students who may have been in an unhealthy relationship and were able to get out due to the knowledge they gained from the class, and how effective the program was based on the effectiveness ratio equation. And the quality feedback would be gathered via student feedback during the focus groups. And some of this for the qualitative data would be the knowledge they retained, barriers that they felt they had, experiences they had, and ways to improve the program that would help then better be successful in the current and future relationships. We'll now move on to question number 2 with Peyton.
All right, so for question number 2, we're focusing on the quality of the lecture sessions provided to the students. This is a one group post-test only evaluation that comes in mixed methods, including a content review, an in-person observation, and a survey. For the content review, it will be focusing on reading all of the slides to ensure accuracy, comparing slides to lesson plans, also to ensure accuracy. The in-person observation will be observing how closely the speaker sticks to lesson plans, and the survey will provide a Likert scale satisfaction questions for the students particularly, as well as open-ended feedback from them as well. For our data for question number 2, for the quantitative section, within the content review, primarily focuses on the outright numbers of errors that are found in the slides, incorrect information, as well as any older information or sources that is being used. There's also going to be focus on the number of irrelevant situations that are found within the slides, as well as any discrepancies that have been found between the lesson plans given to the presenter and the presentation. The observations will have a focus on the number of discrepancies between lesson plans and the presentation given to the presenter. And this is discrepancies that is being found while the presenter is presenting the information to the students. There is no quantitative data that is collected from our survey. The qualitative data for the content review is typically mostly just on how visually appealing the slides are, as well as if they are too cluttered or not, things like that. Observations for that is how professional the presenter seems and how confident they are in presenting the information to the students. The survey is where we collect the qualitative data from the students on their feedback on the program, as well as the Likert scale questions. Moving on to question number 3 with Caitlin.
So our evaluation question number 3 is focusing on how the students are participating in the lecture. So this is also a one group post-test only evaluation with multiple methods, such as observations, discussion groups, and a survey. For the observations, the teacher, instructor, and the third party associated with Albion Fellows Bacon Center will be counting the number of students participating in the lectures, while the third party person will observe when students participate and whether they are distracted. For the discussion group, students will be divided into groups of 3 to 4 to discuss a prompt, and then we'll come back together as a class to discuss this prompt. The teacher, instructor, and the third-party person will be counting how many students in each group are actively engaging with the prompt. The instructor will be counting how many students are discussing the content with them individually when they visit the groups, and the third party will be observing how the students are acting while they're in the groups. And after this class lecture series is over, then there will be the data gathered for these 2 observations will be aggregated and compared. And then the survey will be the exact same one as was in the evaluation question number 2. So as for the data that is gathered for this question, for these methods, the quantitative data will be observational counts, and we will be counting the number of prompted questions these students answer, as well as the number of unique students that are answering the questions, because we don't want to bias our data towards one student who is answering all of the questions. Additionally, we will be counting the number of students who are asking unprompted questions, because this will indicate that they are engaging in the material. For discussion groups, we are going to count the number of students participating in the discussion in their groups, as well as the number of students engaging with the instructor. And for the surveys, we are going to count the number of surveys answered overall, and as well as the percentage of surveys answered each day. For qualitative data, for the observations, we want to ask the questions such as, are students facing forward? Are they free of distractions? So are they not on their phone? Are they not on their computer? Are they not doing homework? As well as, are students talking during the presentation? And then for the discussion groups, we want to ask, are the students participating in the discussion? And are they staying on task in their discussion groups? And finally, for the surveys, we are asking, are the students filling out the surveys with appropriate responses? And are they answering truthfully? So are they answering all tens on our Likert scale survey because they think that this is an excellent program, or are they answering all tens just to answer the survey? So next, I'm going to talk about how we will be presenting the data to our stakeholders. So first of all, I want to identify our stakeholders. The first two are Holly's House and the YMCA of Evansville, both of which are two additional shelters in Evansville which house domestic violence victims. Our next stakeholders are the area school corporations, the Vanderburgh County Health Department, and on a larger scale, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So as for how we will be presenting this data, first and foremost, we will be writing a paper with our findings. We will be presenting this paper to a board meeting with representatives from our stakeholders. And then we will be creating a newsletter of highlights. And this newsletter will be sent to the Albion Fellows Bacon Center for them to put on their website so that it can be easily accessed. And then this newsletter will also be distributed to the schools in the area. And then finally, these are references. This concludes our presentation. Thank you very much for listening, and we will be more than happy to answer any questions.